Hello, this is Andrea Chamblee. I'm the widow of the author of The Capital of Basketball, A History of D.C. Area High School Hoops. John's name is the one in the big white letters, and my name, as well as that of his sports writer colleague David Elfin, is below. It's occurred to me ever since I began my publicity push for this book and the remarkable people whose stories are in it, that I've become the face and the voice of this book. And while my friends say that John would have been, or is, proud of me for being its primary advocate, that's not the point of this book. Most people in Annapolis, Maryland, and that huge triangle of ground between the D.C. metropolitan area, Baltimore, and Anne Arundel County, Maryland, who were fortunate to have met John, considered him a friend, and loved reading what he wrote. Although he served many roles for the group of newspapers for which he devoted most of his adult life to, he was a sports reporter for almost all of his career since high school, and he loved covering sports. He was a master of statistics, rankings, and he enjoyed the competition of amateur and scholastic athletics. When you start reading the book, you will see the numbers flowing in his storytelling. But this is not a book of statistics. Beyond the numbers in this book, John found the personal relationships and uncovered the stories of devotion of coaches and teachers to their students. And that's the story I want you to search for as you consume John's chapters. Along the way, you'll notice something else. There was no race barrier in the early days of black tar playground and gymnasium play. Play was play. And competitors, those young souls, sought players in all neighborhoods, crossing all racial and physical boundaries to either participate or watch a game of hoops. Before the Washington Beltway, before the D.C. Metro, they crossed those boundaries on foot and with a ball in their hand. There's a fair amount of history and pride because John grew up in metropolitan Washington, D.C. How a sport that was birthed in Massachusetts took on all its modern-day nuances in this region and spread throughout the entire world made him proud. That was the legacy that John toiled every night to leave behind. But beyond that pride, I hope you'll read in John's words respect for the men who shaped the lives of their players. John put hundreds of miles on his 15-year-old Subaru, visiting these figures, and he spent hours on the phone and in person, in the stands, watching the next generation coach and play, at their small reunions and diners together, and in large receptions and ballrooms. John showed up, gathering their words and reminiscences. That's the soul of this book. The voices, some, like John, who aren't around to be heard out loud anymore, but they come alive in the pages of this book. When this great pandemic is under control, we can all be together again. I hope we can meet at a game sometime. Until then, please find The Capital of Basketball, A History of D.C. Area High School Hoops, online and buy it. Open it up and read the foreword. It's some of the best writing by a guy I'll always love, John McNamara. Thank you for joining me.